Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. It's a sad day for world cricket, and not just for world cricket, but I think for sports throughout the world. Andrew Symonds, former Australian cricketer, one of the greats who's given us so many memories when it comes to the game itself, has passed away in a car crash aged 46. 26 test matches, 198 ODIs and 14 T20 internationals for Australia. One of the greatest all-rounders in times. Two-time World Cup winner. Of course, we all remember that superb maiden 100 in MCG against England, that partnership with Matthew Hayden, all the memories that are there to be cherished, be it that flamboyant fielder, be it that humble personality. Words have come in from throughout the world, throughout Pakistan, world cricketers all around, sports personalities, journalists, everybody, those who shared the field with Symonds, who shared the dressing room with Symonds, those who had moments of joy with him, have always called him a larger-than-life person. Of course, world of cricket will surely miss Andrew Symonds, and like I said, it's a sad day for world cricket. After that, we'll be talking about hockey in today's show. Pakistan Hockey Federation has announced a 20-member squad for the Asia Cup. Trials for the Asia Cup have been completed. Omar Bhutta will lead the national side. The team will depart for Indonesia on the 19th of May, and their first encounter is against arch rivals India. They're placed in a group alongside Indonesia and Japan and India there as well. After that, some boxing news. Amir King Khan has announced retirement from professional boxing. He said, "It's time to hang up my gloves." Competed in 40 fights, won 34 of them, played a vital role to promote boxing in Pakistan and establish an infrastructure of boxing in Pakistan as well. And of course has inspired many to take up boxing as a professional sport, not just in Pakistan, but throughout the world, in UK as well. That's the lineup that we have for today's show. But first of all, as we said, it's a sad day for world cricket. Andrew Symonds has passed away in a car crash, age 46. More details in this report. Let's take a look and then come back. Gone but can never be forgotten. Andrew Symonds, once again a tribute to Symonds and sympathies for the families of Andrew Symonds and friends and teammates as well, and to Australian cricket on behalf of Sports Extra, our team, PTV World and PTV in general. To discuss this further, we've been joined in studios by cricket commentator and expert Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, I'm good, Ahmed.
Sad day for world cricket.
Unfortunately, really sudden and heartbreaking news. And, a couple of months back when we heard about Shane Warne, it was the same feelings. And a day before yesterday, when I was reading about his death, it was really unfortunate. And honestly, if you talk about his personality, everyone is talking about is that he was a great human being. He was really friendly, and if you see his cricket record, it's been amazing. Touching 40 runs average in his Test cricket, same in the ODI, same, and in T20, it's touching around 48, 49. What a guy he was. And Brian Rada said that a day before yesterday, I have received a text from Andrew Symonds, and he said that, "Hello champ, how you doing?" I replied that I'm fine, how about yourself? So he said that I'm not well, I'm missing you, and I don't know what will be happening. This is what Andrew Symonds said to Brian Lara. And Brian Lara wrote about him that he was a fantastic guy, and I met him in a match, and that since that day I was his friend. If you talk about Brett Lee talks that Brett Lee actually writes about him that he was not behind money or the fame. He was just playing for his country. This is a huge compliment from a former cricketer. What Ricky Ponting said about him, that he was a complete player, and John D. Rhodes says that he was a complete fieldsman. And if you talk about his birth, he born in England, Birmingham, and he played county cricket for the Sheffield Shield and then Surrey Cricket County. And after that, they moved because his parents was from Europe and West India. So he could have chance to play for West Indies or England, but he has decided to play for the Australia. And what a remarkable player he was. Honestly, it's heartbroken news for us, and he will be remembered for a long time.
Indeed, a long time, but what an illustrious career that was. To discuss this further, we've been joined on Sports Extra by Test creator Hasan Raza. Hasan bhai, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Sports Extra. Hasan bhai, when we lose a cricketer, it's not just about his teammates, but the entire cricketing world is one big family. What are your thoughts when you hear that Andrew Symonds has passed away?
Of course, recently he's a recently very good player from Australia cricket. But he served from Australian cricket. Recently, Shane Warne, we discussed about the Shane Warne, he died as well. And Richie Beno, also he's commentator as well in Australia. So one of the two reasons in the car accident, remember you Ben Holyoke, Adam Holyoke, their incident as well for his die for the car accident. So this is the second time for the Andrew Symonds. He's a good performer from Australian cricket.
Definitely. Hasan bhai, when we talk about Symonds as a player, in that mode when we saw one of the great Australian teams playing two-time World Cup winner, but that sense of aggression he had as an all-rounder, as a batter, bowler and then as a fielder, how much did it define cricket for him?
Of course, the badge is very good that time, 90s era. Gilchrist, Shane Warne that time, Gillespie, they have Steve Marco. I used to play for 2099 in Sharjah series against Australia. They're all complete players for the nation. Andrew Symonds is very talented. He born in England, Birmingham. I used to play Birmingham as well. So many players he met him over there. Alvin Kalichran from West Indies, he was living over there. Mushtaq Mohammad, living in Birmingham. He's a very respectable personality. And very talented. He took 2 World Cup for Australia. He bowled for outswing medium pacer as well. He's a hard hitter batsman as well. 3 former Test cricket and Western cricket. Lots of perform from his country over there in Australia. So that's a very disappointed for the Australian cricket.
Very true, very true. Very sad day indeed. Asif, so many memories. We would be able to discuss them on, and we won't have time. But particularly when I talk about that maiden 100, that was very special. That entire incident, Australia 5 down, England 159 in their first innings. England had a great team then and there. There was a tough series, a lot of frustration there, a lot of sledging involved, and then walks in Andrew Symonds, and as he said it himself, that he knew that his position in the team was on the line if he wouldn't perform, and that pressure was there as well. But comes on, scores 100 and silences all his critics.
Yeah, when you talk about his position in 2003 when the World Cup was happening, people were talking about, and debate was going on there about Steve Waugh and Andrew Symonds. But the Ricky Ponting, he was pretty much confident about Andrew Symonds and said that I want Andrew Symonds. And you know that when he came there in 2003, same in the 1999, that they won the World Cup. And if you could see his pictures, he's smiling with the trophy of 2003 World Cup. And when the pressure is on you, and the player like Andrew Symonds, batting all-rounder number, his batting number was number 5, number 6. But if you could ask him to play on number 3, he got the confidence to play on the number 3 as well. And as Hasan Raza said that he was a complete all-rounder. If you want him as an off-spinner, yes, he is there. If you want him as a medium-fast bowler, yes, don't worry, Andrew Symonds is there. If you ask him to bat on number 3, as I said earlier. So he was a complete player. And that's why, if you do remember his first century, the maiden century you're talking about, and playing with against their rival team, the rivalry of the England and Australia is still there, and you're playing a really pressure game and getting 100. Of course, that it was a huge game. See that he was a smasher. See that he could hit anywhere around the park. If you see his fielding, it's been superb. His direct hits. He's a complete man there. He's a complete all-rounder.
But Asif, teammates said, a lot of them, he said he was a guy to count on. He would just tell you that he's going to be there, and you could depend on him as a player and as an individual as well. And I think about that Australian side, as Hasan bhai also mentioned, some of the players at that time, they had Gillespie, McGraw, Kasparovich was there, Ponting himself, Gilchrist, Matthew Hayden, everybody, Darren Lemon, Brett Lee, everybody in that part of the Australian team. They were actually a unit that they would depend on each other. I mean, if one was down, the other would pick him up. Similarly, with this Symonds maiden 100, it was Matthew Hayden who played an instrumental part in making sure that he got that 100.
Yeah, what a magical guy he was. And if you talk about all-time T20 player or a match winner, if you talk about, and that is the Andrew Symonds. And if you see his fielding, if you see his batting, especially when if you place him in the point position, he would be Jonty Rhodes. If you could place him in the covers area, you will find him Mohammad Kaf. And if you put him on the short mid wicket, you will find Lou Winson. So all of the abilities, if you talk about his, and he was a really special guy. And do you remember that he hit consecutive 3 6s against Saklan Mushtaq, and that was the destruction actually. That was the World Series final. And on that time, Wasim Akram said that whenever Saklan bowling against Andrew Symonds, he used to bowl dusra and he forgets about spin, off spin. So that was the pressure of Andrew Symonds, of course, that. And honestly, I got some, because I played club cricket, university and college. So I used to follow his fielding, abilities, the way he comes towards ball, the way he hit direct hits. So he was an amazing guy, a magical stuff. And honestly, we all are really saddened.
Truly, really sad indeed. But one of the highlights of not just his career, but of the entire Australian team that has been playing has been the confidence that they had as well. Hasan bhai, why is it that Australians become so confident when we see them in the field? Even that team, even Andrew Symonds himself was very confident as a player. They would step up when the team needed them and would not worry about the circumstances or the position of the match.
I've never seen this in area of 19, that time one manager for the Australian team, otherwise nobody coaching from them players like over there. And you missed the one player as well. You're talking about the Gilchrist, Ricky Ponting. You missed the Michael Slater as well. I remember we played for side match against Australia. Michael Slater took 200 runs in side match. So they are very confident. Their growth structure, cricket, grassroots level is very strong in Australia. Like you ask about Steve O'Marco, David Hussey, Michael Hussey. Their product is very energetic. They are follow for cricket. The fan followings in Australia, if you see the big bash over there, so many players around the world, they're playing together. And they play for modern cricket, T20, fast cricket. That's why Andrew Symonds and these kind of players, they're very magical players. Like he, fielding is like Jonty Rhodes, he cover, back foot point, straight, whatever he just round the ground, energetic, they definitely lose Andrew Symonds.
Very true. You yourself played a match against Australia, scored 122 in total in that match. You got a 50 and got a couple of runs in the second one as well. What was the experience when you play against a side like Australia? What is going through your mind as a player, knowing that they're world champions multiple times, quality side, aggression will be there, sledging will be there, and it's Australia who you're playing against?
Of course, that legend is very true over there on the field. Humility was there in Sharjah, 99. I've come back from Pakistan 4 years after 4 years come back from the first class performance. So I played for Shane Warne, took first ball. So Gilchrist asked me, why are you laughing? You play for few test matches, he play for 100 test matches. So that's the reason they play from professionally and they are sledging and they play for country. Everybody play for country, but they are aggressive and they attack the other side opposition. Whatever you bowling, whatever you fielding. So that is the era 90s. They are a very complete team, and they are huge stars for that team. Which like fast bowler Bradley, he bowled reverse swing that time. So very hard to get a perform from that world class team. So world class era like West Indies, Australia. All 11 players energetic and they play for country and they're so aggressive.
Very true. But Hasan bhai, why were you laughing at that time?
Because I play my smoothly. I come back after 4 years, so I just stay on my wicket because we have got the follow on against Australia. So I took my runs 50 and 60, getting 100 runs. So he laughing and get him out.
Well, I mean, Hasan bhai was very comfortable playing against Australia, but a true chap, Hasan bhai is as well, and always a very dear brother and a great man to talk to. Hasan bhai, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. K. Asif, memories and players will share them all, but it's great to see that players from all around the world who have played against each other would have had I think, aggressive times on the field, would have almost fought with each other, maybe thrown the bat or a ball. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's one big family, all of these cricketers. Be it Sachin Tendulkar, Ricky Ponting, Shoaib Akhtar, anybody, everybody had great words for Andrew Symonds.
You're right, that if you do remember that harsh talk between Shoaib Akhtar and Andrew Symonds in Australia in World Series. Even then, if you talk about Shoaib Akhtar's tweet, he was pretty much saddened, as everyone is. And cricketers from all over the world and cricketers, and they're sending their messages to his family and friends. Of course, that he was a guy with, with great, not only with the performance on the field, but off the field, he was a great chap. And that's why Brian Lara said that when I received his message, and he said that, "Hello champion, how you doing?" That was the last message which was received from Andrew Symonds to Brian Lara. And he said that, "I'm fine, and what about you?" He said, "No, I'm not fine. Something missing, and I'm missing you." This is what Brian Lara said, and he said, "I'm shocked when I heard his news, the news of his death." So
a tough year for Australian cricket.
So,
Losing him, Shane Warne,
yeah,
Rod Marsh before that as well. Tough year.
Yes, that's right. And that's why that the Australia is the number 1 team, and they got the fans from all over the world, not from only from the Australia, from the Pakistanis. And the Pakistanis, the fans of Andrew Symonds, they're sending their messages to their families that the positive thoughts are with them.
What's the memory he leaves behind, Asif? A larger than life guy, we know that. As a cricketer, as a person of a great Australian side that was multiple times world champion. What's the legacy Symonds leaves behind?
Really, really tough one for me, because if you talk about that, the Australian, the way they left their legacies. If you talk about Shane Warne, if you talk about Glenn McGrath, Steve Waugh, Mark Waugh, but this guy was special. This guy was an extraordinary talent, and he was an entertainer. Extraordinary talent, and when you talk about anywhere, the game changer, the game winner, that would be Andrew Symonds.
Because it's very funny to think that we can talk about aggression these days with the boundary limitations, probably 2 new balls in 1 day at least, the size of the bats, fielding restrictions, the kind of wickets that are made. But at that time, it was an era of terrifying fast bowling. And there comes a guy, whether it's Test cricket, 1 day, and later on went to play 14 T20s for Australia, would always come with a positive attitude, would just be that bad person who will stand up there and will take everything and just smash the ball out of the park.
Let's imagine that Shoaib Akhtar, you're facing Shoaib Akhtar and he's bowling with the speed of 155, 156.
I can't imagine that.
And Andrew Symonds is facing and pulling and hooking on the front foot. Just, you cannot imagine that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. I mean, yes, of course. And if you talk about the legendary spinner, Saklan Mushtaq, is bowling Dusra with the huge spin and asking for the flight deliveries. And Andrew Symonds could hit you on the back foot for the
funny thing is that even when he got to his maiden 100, he was on 94 or 96. And he hit one straight down the ground. And he says that I saw it go up in the air, and then I'm looking at the umpire and then looking at the scoreboard and saying, "Come on, mate, that's got to be a 6." And then I saw the scoreboard lit up, and then I run to Haydos and I just give him a bear hug. And he said that in the evening, I meet Hayden and he has a huge bump on his forehead. So I asked, "What's that?" And he said, "That's because of you, you dummy. When you came and hugged me, you broke my helmet."
See, this is what all about Andrew Symonds is, that his bravery, his confidence. I always used to see him as a smiling face guy, and even if when the tense situation were going on there, you could see him smiling and giving his best, giving 100%. And that's why
Peter Siddle had the most, most interesting tweet. He said, "He's one of those guys that inspired me to put zinc on my lips when I was playing."
Yeah, everyone talks about his lips as well, because Kamran Akmal and Omar Akmal used to follow him.
Yeah.
They're putting
green.
Green, yeah. So he was a fantastic guy, and I'm missing his memories, of course, when you watch him as a bowler, as a batter, as a fielder.
Cheeky bowler.
Cheeky bowler,
Small steps.
See, like Sachin Tendulkar used to bowl leg spin, off spin, medium. So anyways, yes. So So that was the guy of Australia. That is called Andrew Symonds. And I used to watch his run out mostly when I used to see that you'll find some extraordinary efforts from him. Some direct hits. And I would like to give this message to our youth that if you want to become a complete cricketer, complete athlete, please follow Andrew Symonds. He's no more there, but his videos and memories are still there.
Truly there as well. 26 test matches, 198 ODIs and 14 T20 internationals.
Talk about his average, dear. This is phenomenal.
At that time,
this is phenomenal. In 10 cricket, Test cricket, touching 40. In ODI, same. In T20.
And it's not like that you're the only one, because before you, if you look at the lineup he was playing with, Gilchrist, Hayden, Ricky Ponting there as well,
Martin,
the Wars there as well. So a huge lineup in which he was performing still.
And he find his place, and that's why in 2003's World Cup, when there was a debate between Stewart and Andrew Symonds, Ricky Ponting didn't go with the Stewart with a big experience, with a big name. He went with the Andrew Symonds and improved himself.
He proved it. They're world champions then. They won the game. That's true. Very true indeed. But leaves behind a wonderful family, leaves behind so many memories. The entire cricket fraternity will always thank Andrew Symonds for his contribution, not just to Australian cricket, but world cricket. And like I said, beat the aggression, those fantastic run-outs that Asif talks about. You can see them on the screen as well.
And his fitness.
Beautiful maiden 100 at the MCG at a time when there was immense pressure, 5 down against England. The spot in the side on the line as well. Be it that fantastic World Cup knock against Pakistan, taking the game away with superb performance. That confidence, Andrew Symonds will forever live in the hearts of entire cricketing fraternity around the world. People who have loved this game, not just played it, but have loved it from out of the field as well. There were tributes as well throughout the world, in side games, in county games, in an AFL game as well for footy in Australia. And the tributes will continue to come in as long as Symonds' memory will be there, and that is for eternity. K. Asif, thank you very much for joining us. On that note, we'll go towards a short break. We'll come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now for our segment on hockey, where the Pakistan Hockey Federation has announced a 20-member squad for the Asia Cup. Umar Bhutta will lead the side as the skipper. Pakistan will depart for Indonesia on the 19th of May, and they've got their first campaign against arch rivals India. A lot to talk about, and we're going to be talking on this entire journey of the Pakistan Hockey Federation to get to the trials and then select a squad. They've played some international hockey as well on their tour to Europe. To discuss this further, we've been joined by former hockey player Imran Bhatt. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Walaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for joining us, Imran Bhai. What would you like to first of all highlight for our viewers who want to know about this squad that has been announced? Of course, there's been a lot of planning going into this from the Pakistan Hockey Federation.
Yeah, definitely. Pakistan hockey team is announced for the 20 players for the Asia Cup, and especially we have a senior-junior combination. That might be a very good combination for the Asia Cup, because we need to qualify for the World Cup, and we made a best combination for the Asia Cup.
That's very important, and we've talked to you before as well, where you mentioned that because they've played against top European sides, that will also help them in their campaign in the Asia Cup.
Yeah, definitely. The past recent Europe tour is very important for the Pakistan hockey team, and they played very well. And the coming Asia Cup, the last Europe tour is very helpful for the Pakistan team, and especially in the senior combination is very good with the junior players. Especially I mentioned the name of the players, especially the Umar Bhutta, Ali Shan, Ammar Shakil, Butt, Abu Bakr, Mubashir. These players are the key players for the Pakistan. If these players are playing well in upcoming Asia Cup, and the Pakistan team will be qualify for the World Cup, especially Pakistan team will be win the Asia Cup is also.
Very true. Umar Bhutta himself as a skipper, how important is the role of him in the side?
Very important. He is an experienced player. He also played with me in the past in the Pakistan team, and especially Umar Bhutta now is leading, and he's a very skillful player and very experienced player, and he will be used their experience in the Asia Cup is very helpful for the Pakistan team and the junior players.
Very true. Imran bhai, what about the opponents that Pakistan has? Of course, first of all, India, we know the brand of hockey they're playing, very successful, very aggressive. The intent is there. Our first match against India, and then of course we also have Japan and Indonesia in our group in the Asia Cup as well. How are they as a team when we talk about those three?
India definitely we against India in the first game is a very tough game for Pakistan, but India and Pakistan is a pressure game. Who maintain their pressure? I think so. Which team maintain the pressure, they win. And especially the nerve games, who control the nerves against the opponent team, because India and Pakistan is anybody game. No one can predict who will win. So it's depend on the day who will play well, win the game against Japan, especially the very important match against Japan. We want to win Japan to qualify for the semi-finals, and especially against Japan, we played our original game, our Asian style. So it's very helpful for the Pakistan, because Japanese side is also a very tough side, and Ekman is also working with the Japanese, and now he is the coach from the Pakistan team. He gives a lot of tips against Japan for the Pakistani players. Very helpful for us.
Very helpful indeed as well. Where is one area where you think Pakistan should improve their hockey? I understand it at a large scale, we need to improve many things, but one particular thing that you can highlight as a player where you want Pakistan to improve?
We need to improve our defensive structure. If we want to survive in the Asia Cup, we avoid the plenty corners. We avoid any mistake in our defense, because we need to defend strongly against the best teams to help to our forwards. And one other thing is very important. If the forward scores the goal, field goals. If Pakistan score a field goal, it's very helpful for Pakistan, and defend strongly.
Defense strongly is the case. Thank you very much, Imran Butt, for talking to us on Sports Extra. As he's mentioned as well, it's a tough Asia Cup. Pakistan have got India, they've got Japan and Indonesia in their group, and they want to win this to qualify for the World Cup, because World Cup qualification is up for grabs as well. Defense is the area he said that we should improve in, but overall he said the way things are going with Pakistan hockey, we can of course expect better results, and the team will of course depart on the 19th of this month. It's a 20-member squad being led by Umar Bhutta as the skipper, a combination of youth and experience in this side of the Pakistan hockey, who will represent the nation at the Asia Cup in Indonesia. We'll talk more, and we've got some more news coming on Sports Extra, but right after this short break, stay tuned. Welcome back. Time now for a segment on boxing, a very special segment. Amir King Khan has hanged his gloves and he has called retirement on his career as a boxer. We've got more details in this report. Let's take a look.
Former world champion Amir Khan has announced his retirement from boxing after a 17-year professional career. His final bout was a 6th-round knockout loss against rival Kell Brook, who also retired last week. "It's time to hang up my gloves," Khan posted on social media. Khan said that he feels blessed to have such an amazing career. He added that he wants to say a heartfelt thanks to the incredible teams he has worked with, and to his family, friends and fans for the love and support they have shown him. Khan became Olympic lightweight silver medalist at the 2004 Athens Games when he was 17 years old. He won the WBA light welter belt from Ukrainian Andrei Kotelnik in 2009 and added the IBF title in 2011 when he beat American Zeb Judah.
Khan would prevail. Khan reaching to get to Judah. Always in perfect position to shoot that punch. Plus, that's his favorite punch anyway.
Draculich is calling this a knockdown on a body shot. A knockout victory for Amir. And Zeb Judah believes that he was fouled, but he's not going to win the argument.
He also worked for boxing in Pakistan by setting up Amir Khan Boxing Academy. Khan finishes his career with 34 professional wins and 6 losses.
To discuss this further, we've been joined on Sports Extra by fellow anchor at PTV World and the real steel when we want to know about boxing, Hasan Haqqani. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Sports Extra.
Thank you for having me, Amir.
Well, great to have you on the show, Hasan. What would you like to say about the career of Amir King Khan? We've discussed boxing frequently, but Amir surely made an impact.
Amir always made an impact when we talk about boxing, especially with the fans in the subcontinent and world all over. He was an inspirational boxer, to say the least, for all the youngsters in Pakistan and India, all over the world. He inspired millions of people. And what a career did Amir Khan have. Amir Khan was just 17 when he won the Athens Olympics silver medal. A true inspiration for the Britain, for the Pakistanis as well, representing Britain on all formats, turning into a professional boxer earlier on in his career. Everything going amazingly well for him. A welterweight champion, light welterweight, unified champion at the age where he was around 27, 28. An amazing boxing career. He promoted boxing wherever he went, had amazing events in the UAE, the Gulf areas, the US, made a big name in the US as he transformed his career from the UK to the US, has also made a Pakistan Boxing Academy. So he's done a lot for boxing altogether. We have to give him credit for making sure that the new generation of all the Desis have something to learn from Amir Khan and his glorious career.
Hasan, what made him so successful technically, if we talk about Amir Khan as a boxer?
He was just 9 or 10 years old when his father put him in the boxing academy. So he was coming from a pedigree that was a class act. Starting from 9 and 10 years, learned a lot from the British Boxing Association as well. Went into the Olympics earlier on. He had to face people like Kell Brook, who walked through them. And he was a class act since day one. And made sure that he won in the Olympics as well. Lost in the final, but then again regained and won again after turning into the professionals from the same boxer that he lost to. So he proved himself to be the best pound-for-pound boxer when he was at his prime. Shifted to the United States, made sure he won amazing fights, just as the report said, Zab Judah, Paulie Malignaggi, Devin Alexander. I mean, biggest players in the game. And what a successful career.
Truly successful. 40 bouts, 34 of them won, and that speed and agility when we talk about his impact. You talked about his impact on boxing in this region, especially in Pakistan. Pakistanis truly, before Amir, obviously had a boxing history, but they did not have that icon that they needed. As an icon, do you think that he's been instrumental in at least inspiring people at a large level in Pakistan and then creating an infrastructure where we can actually have boxers coming from Pakistan?
Absolutely, I'd say Amir Khan has been a truly inspirational person. He's a brand name now. Amir Khan Foundation is there. He's doing a lot of charity work as well. He's made academies all over the world. He's got an academy in Britain as well. So a true inspiration for all the youngsters, especially the Pakistanis, where the boxing wasn't really a big sport in Pakistan. And now look at boxing. We've got newcomers like Usman Shanwari and all coming in. Usman Wazir doing pretty well. We've
Absolutely.
got Wasim doing pretty well. Wasim was very keen on learning from Amir Khan himself. And a true inspiration for all the Desis, just as said, not just in Pakistan, but also in India as well. Big name.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hasan Haqqani, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. And as Hasan has mentioned, a lot of these young boxers have time and time again highlighted and have appreciated the role of Amir Khan in their careers, how much help they get from him technically and of course whenever they need it. So truly a great career. Congratulations to Amir Khan, his family and everybody who's been involved with this successful career. But now there's always a time to say goodbye to the sport you love and look forward to your career in any other role. But one thing is for sure, the title of Amir King Khan will forever be there and he'll forever be the king of boxing when we talk about boxing in Pakistan, the UK or world over. That's all we have for this edition of Sports Extra. Catch us tomorrow. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.